Hello, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. So, I'd like to start off by asking my audience a question. What if you encountered violence, threats, and crime, and war at home, and the people you turn to, the government and police, wouldn't help you? Wouldn't you pick up and leave somewhere else at a safer place? This is the situation for many people in Central America, South America, Europe, and other places around the world. People are seeking safety here in the U.S. This is creating a situation at the Mexican and U.S. border. Problems like family separation, refugees seeking asylum from crime, violence, and war. The purpose of this speech is to educate and encourage my audience to act towards this ongoing problem at the border. In my opinion, the current situation at the border is failing. First off, like I'd mentioned, family separation. Kids, infants, and parents are being torn apart from each other. They're being placed in inhumane detention centers. Refugees are being treated like criminals without no criminal background. And everybody's rights are being violated. So, I'll start off with my first main point. Families and people at the border are living in terrible conditions. Border reports reported that 1,000 people, 1,000 migrants seeking entry into the USA were living in terrible living conditions. They were camped out at the borders and at the detention centers, but specifically the ones at the borders on the streets of TJ don't have even the basic living services like bathrooms, running water, and electricity. Due to the large number of people at these camps, the Mexico State Health Department was advocating to shut these camps down due to diseases and viruses like COVID-19. And these people were becoming easy victims to crime, right? So they're camped out, and they're just being targeted for kidnapping, being robbed, you name it. It's a terrible living condition. My second point is family separation. Under the Biden administration, family separation has improved. The Biden Reunification Task Force has reunited over 2,000 kids with their family. Yet still many more still are out there, are by themselves. They still haven't reunited with their family. Kids at these detention centers that are separated are labeled unaccompanied and being sent to government custodies and foster homes. My third point is the human rights being violated. These detention centers are violating these migrants' rights. They are being forced to stay in these detention centers that are unfit for animals. These people don't even have criminal backgrounds and are all being categorized the same. Refugees seeking safety here from crime, from violence, and from war, and also from religious beliefs are also being placed in all the same category. These people could be waiting up to months at these camps, and like I had mentioned before, are easy targets for gangs and cartels. Refugees from Ukraine have all migrated also, so this situation is really bad. It's improved since the new Biden administration, but yeah, there's still many changes that need to come. Us as Americans, another point, this is what we could do. We need to demand for changes at these borders. We need to speak up for the people with no voices. Demand that they demand for their human rights, to stop family separation, to demand for better living conditions. What we need to do is when it comes time to electing officials, we need to get familiar with their border control policies. We need to support nonprofit organizations like RACES, UCLA, UCLU, Youth Center for Migrant Kids, border angels, kids in need of defense, and asylum seekers advocacy projects. Excuse me. By donating funds to these nonprofits, by word of mouth, by being educated, right? My last point would be, well, not last point. This funding would, from the government, would help for better training to screen these people for, better screening would allow the police and the border control to realize who the criminals are, to let these good people in. I chose this topic, the Mexican-U.S. border, because of a few reasons. One, because my family also made this trip over 3 decades ago. Not for the same purposes, but for a better future for their family and for themselves, for better living conditions. That way, they wouldn't be in fear of the government not helping them out when it was time and they needed. We need to pressure the Mexican side also. That way they could also stop these gangs and create a better situation down at the border. Us as Americans, we need to stand together to fight for a better, improved border. At the moment, the border is inhumane and not fair, in my opinion. How can us as Americans be okay with people being treated like animals and criminals, being tortured, being incarcerated, being ignored, and placed in these terrible living conditions? Place yourself in their situations. Wouldn't you also come over here and seek of a better opportunity and seek for safety? I would. Besides the fact, America is the land of the free, the home of the brave, and the border situation is a terrible representation of the U.S. I hope that this presentation, would encourage people to go act and go get familiar with these nonprofit organizations, to go vote when it's come time, to get educated with these people that are getting elected. That way, a change could happen. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this short presentation and you learned something. Thank you.